And so finding these four numbers in this cluster, finding 911 as many times as I did, realizing that Logan's Temple and some Mormon-based element is involved in this ritual pentagram that involves the Yellowstone supervolcano, being invoked through a code word or operational phase or code word named Jared. Yeah, I think it was important because there were some things that happened offline recently that others are talking and discussing, which they should because it's important. If you recall, there were media reports of Russian bombers skirting U.S. airspace, and apparently other media sources indicate that the Russians were apparently conducting some type of scientific testing because there's a huge and unusual magnetic anomaly that exists over the Yellowstone caldera, and they feel that magnetic anomaly could lead to a pole shift, an eruption, any number of things. And so this subtle introduction in the media about this magnetic anomaly involving the Yellowstone caldera and the Yellowstone supervolcano is important because the ritual timing has been started with Jared. Jared has begun. That means we're counting down to a ritual event or a number of ritual events because there are a number of groups in play. The Pope, the Queen, the Bush cabal, you got a number of people that come, every now and then into the mix to support one of the other groups just already mentioned. So it gets to be very busy whenever they get busy. And so before it gets really busy, I want you to see that I knew it was going to get busy, and that I know that by invoking the Yellowstone supervolcano Jared ritual code, ritual phase that has begun, it's leading to Yellowstone. Now, Yellowstone is a serious matter, people, and if you haven't taken it serious, you're really you're in denial. Now, I realize, I've had people communicate to me, and I realize people have property, have family, have jobs, have values and possessions, animals, pets, things that you just don't trash because you think Yellowstone's going to blow up. I mean, people have been thinking Yellowstone's going to blow up for the last 1,000 years, but it's going to. And when it does, and if it does in accordance to this ritual timing that I've been discussing, then it's leading to the eventual solar eclipse of the sun that's going to occur, the next solar eclipse, that occurs on October 23rd. The 53-54 day code that takes us back from the solar eclipse date when the shadow of the solar eclipse goes over the ritual site, sanctifying it like it did in MH370. Okay? Now, this means that the Yellowstone supervolcano area and the LA area, that region that falls under the shadow of the solar eclipse, is prone to some form of 911 type of activity. And now that we're starting to see an uptick in false flag ritual events that are leading that way, well, it's leading to Yellowstone. And because I believe Yellowstone will be artificially triggered, they will do something to make it explode in accordance to the timing that they need. Because it's going to begin a series of events that's going to change the United States forever and the world. It's going to begin a series of events globally in other areas that are needed as part of the global conflict. It's going to mask in terms of government efforts, nation efforts. Everyone's going to use the supervolcano, and well, it's going to be used as a means to kick off some form of global conflict, which is why the next solar eclipse for March 20, 2015, where the shadow of the eclipse goes over the Middle East, Israel, Europe, Rome, and which is, as I've already indicated, conveniently when the Pope is going to be out of town on the exact just days before the ritual 54 days in advance of the solar eclipse of March 20, 2015 falls in January, and those are the dates that the Pope's going to be out of town. Not that he's just going to be out of town, but that he's going to be located specifically within the MH370 ritual pentagram of protection. Now, finding the 666 and series of codes that lead to 999, seeing Logan's Temple once again involved from the beginning with Jared Lohner in the Tucson, Arizona shooting, realizing that we have a Jared Miller and we have a Jared Michael Patchett, tells me that yes, mind control is an aspect of this. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It has to be. But there's a ritual timing that's key that we're being shown here with the Jared initiation, the Jared activation, the Jared code word being put into play is key because it's leading us somewhere, and I don't want you to lose sight of what's coming. Now, there are important dates in July 22, 7/22 is of course the Royal Prince's birthday. There are dates in early September that are important, up through 9/11, because if you will recall, the royal couple are expecting twin girls due to be born sometime late August through early September around the 9/11 time frame. Now, if this is true, then it places this August 30th, August 31st ritual timing for Yellowstone. This is the date that I suspect something is going to happen. Whether it's Yellowstone, LA, it's going to fall within this ritual pentagram that is centered at Logan's temple in terms of the heart of this inner sanctum of this ritual pentagram. So we're moving along. And if you haven't taken Yellowstone serious, you should. But this recent magnetic anomaly report is indicative to me that things are going on that we don't know about, and I believe it's going to blow. And so if you're not taking reports or earthquake, reports seriously, you should. Because if you haven't thought about what you're going to do, well, you should have already, because I really don't want you to be one of those people that I said you're going to be if you don't use the time necessary that you have to save yourself. Because there's going to come a point in all this knowledge base of information that people are feeding you from me and other sources that will somehow, I guess, suggest to you that, what's coming is coming. And since I'm following a ritual, I follow the ritual code, and the ritual code says it's coming. So, with that in mind, I really wanted to put this out because this observation, I really believe the Jared ritual phase has begun, and it's leading to the Logan's Temple, Yellowstone supervolcano, and that's where all of this is leading. And if it leads to that Yellowstone major eruption, then we're going to have martial law, restrictions, mobility, a national emergency, a global emergency. But from that very point forth, we have about 6 months until the next solar eclipse. And so, for anyone who thinks that, you see, in the very hours that follow a Yellowstone major eruption, cities are going to be, thousands of people are going to die. Now, if a 500-mile radius is a major destructive effort, if 50 to 60 miles is like a 98% kill zone, and then the ash cloud begins to inundate the entire region of the United States, inundating all crops, water, cities, roads. You're not going to be able to see, you're not going to be able to grow, you're not going to be able to drink, you're not going to be able to hunt or fish, you're not going to be able to do anything because everything's going to die. And so this death that's coming is not going to come quick. Now, nuclear strike would be quick, but what the New World Order has is famine, pain, chaos, anarchy, madness, insanity, so that they can control the people in the region affected, so that they can get you to move under the guise of the emergency to go where they need you to go so they can process you as part of the New World Order's engine. Now that's my biggest fear, is that if you haven't thought about, it's one thing to leave everything behind, but what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to live? And so if the preponderance of the United States is going to be inundated with ash cloud, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Las Vegas, California, and other regions, even to the west, towards the coast. So when the food stops being picked and delivered and processed and sold and things, there's going to be a shortage. Well, I went to go buy sugar just yesterday. There's no more 5-pound bags. And so I saw the stocker and I said, hey, you got any 5-pound bags in the back? And he says, no, we're not making those anymore. They're not making them anymore. They're going to 4. And I said, well, why? And I said, well, didn't you notice? He says, didn't you notice the price? So I looked at the price and I said, well, damn, it's the same price as the 5-pound bag, used to be. So here's the new business model because of the shrinking American dollar and other things in the world dealing with our fiat currency and our corrupt Walmart system and our corrupt financial system in the United States and in the world. Our dollar is worthless. So now I'm getting 4 pounds of sugar when I used to get 5 pounds, and I'm having to pay the same price I did for 5 pounds, but I'm only getting 4. Now, then I noticed my oatmeal, because oatmeal, there's so many grams per package, there's so many packages per box, there's so many grams weight-wise that comes in that box. And so I started noticing everything has been reduced. Hundreds of milligrams or, ounces in some cases. But the sugar thing really just made me realize that if Yellowstone supervolcano actually erupts, within days, there's going to be a crisis for food, water, and it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get over, it's not going to be fixed. And I want to say this again because I've already said it and people don't know that I've said it, but I'm going to say it again because I said it in a video and I can point it out to you if you need to. If you need evidence of me saying this, I'll prove it to you. I said that when media reports were coming in about the government coordinating with other nations, Brazil, Australia, and these other nations with regard to housing Americans from a major volcanic eruption, I indicated then that that was bogus as dirt. It's as bogus as can be. It's hoax. It can't be true. And so anyone who spreads this, that they're preparing other nations to accept Americans, that's crap. And I'm going to tell you again why. Because you can't move millions and millions of people without first planning how you're going to move them. How are you going to move them to Brazil and Australia? What? We're just going to put them on a plane and boats, millions of people, and we're not going to worry about how many boats or planes that's going to take or how much money that's going to cost? No. If you get into the logistics of what I'm discussing, you'll realize that what the government is saying they're going to do is bullshit. It's crap. They're not going to do it. It's hoax. If you think you're going to be in some FEMA camp, 3 meals a day, air conditioning, watching cable TV, or shooting hoops because you got nothing better to do, buddy, you're in a real delusion. They're going to process everyone fit to be a slave in the New World Order, fit to go along with the New World Order, to comply with what they tell you, or you're going to die. It's that simple. And if you're too old, infirmed, sick, got some illness, and you need all these prescriptions, or you're too fat, or you're too lazy, or too stupid to do anything, well then they got a cure for you, and it's called extermination, genocide. That's what I think is coming. And that's why this Yellowstone supervolcano eruption is just but a part of the global items in the process. They're going to lead to a global conflict. You see, imagine having a global conflict in the midst of a supervolcano emergency, national emergency, and restrictions and everything, and nobody's going to know what's going on. We're going to be told by the government what's going on. Because if anyone who thinks cable, television, radio, internet's all just going to be up and running just like it is today, well, no. Because if you watch any of those Yellowstone videos and expanded documentaries on Yellowstone, you'll see that eventually, within days of the ash cloud spreading, it's going to knock out electricity. Electricity is going to be out. Electricity runs everything that cools, water, everything. Gas, refrigerators, gas pumps, stores. Everybody uses electricity to run something for business, okay? I don't shoot links. I provide links for things that are necessary as part of this is what I used or what I referred to inform me. And if you want to see what informed me, I'm showing it to you. Now that's what I'm doing. But anyway, this Oregon shooting spree made me realize after I saw the code, the intricate code in this Emilio Hoffman name code, that this Jared activation is serious. And so if you get nothing out of this, damn it, take Yellowstone serious and begin thinking about other than just the event itself. No water, no food, no mobility, no internet, no electricity, nothing, no ability, no freedom to move because you think you want to. When they start evacuating people, they're going to start evacuating people under a controlled fashion. And so that's what I'm trying to prepare you to avoid. Because if once you fall into giving up everything to go with them, well, that's it. I mean, you're not coming back. The area is going to be declared a disaster area for eons, for decades. It's not going to grow crops or anything for a long time. And that's the part that people just aren't realistically talking and discussing. And so, well, this is my way of trying to bring it to your attention, because even though I think different, I talk different, I see things different, it doesn't mean that it's not there. I know it's there, and I know these concerns that I'm discussing are valid. And so I hope you see them as valid and see them as being a sincere effort to try to prod you to take this Yellowstone Super ritual element serious. Because the timing is coming to an August 30th, August 31st time frame. Time is running down, and if you haven't done anything, you're going to wait for it to blow to decide what to do. Take it with a grain of salt. I always ask you to. I ask you to use your best judgment with anything that I show you, but if I show you the code that's there, it's there. And so if these concerns come from the thought process that comes from what the code shows, well, I would hope that you would trust my better judgment on this and believe when I say that Yellowstone as a supervolcano major eruption is a reality. But a false flag 911 type of reality, and that's what you have to keep in mind. It's going to be blown on a ritual timing basis. Now, how they do that, secret science, secret weapons, who knows? Maybe that's what this magnetic anomaly around the caldera is already some signature indicator of what's already going on in timing to this August 30th start date for the ritual. So, with that in mind, I hope this is enough to get you to thinking. I hope it gets you to thinking. I want it to make you think. But I'm going to continue on. It's what I do, and it's what I'm going to continue to do as long as I can.